Here we go. All right, let's try to finish this up. So you said example 3. So let's do that. Okay, here we go. It says, the question says, write the slope-intercept form. What's slope-intercept form? Which one's that? Yeah, y equals mx plus b. So our answer is going to be in this form right here. Write the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line that goes through these 2 points. All right, so they give you 2 points, and you have to write an equation of a line. I just finished doing a problem just like this. I don't know. This is example 3. All right, here we go. Let's just do it. All right, shh. All right. Everybody watching now? Everybody writing this down? Some of you are not. All right, so first thing we're going to do is find the slope. All right? All we need to find are 2 things. What do we have to find? The slope and what else? The y-intercept. So let's find the slope first. All right, so if you find the slope, changing y, we're changing x, right? Subtract the y's from each other. Doesn't matter what order, as long as you subtract the x's in the same order. So let's just go 6 minus 3. And let's go 2 minus what? Negative 4. Good. All right, that's 3 over what? 6, and that is 1/2. All right, so that is your slope. But now you got to find the y-intercept. So we're going to plug in. We know 3 of these 4 things. We know an x and a y. Where do we get the x and y from? Ordered pairs. Yeah, either one of the ordered pairs. It doesn't make any difference, okay? You could use this one. You could use this one. I'd probably use the one with just positives. Makes it a little bit easier. But you could use either one. Doesn't make any difference, okay? So this is the x and this is the y. So what are you going to put first? 6 equals m. We just found it. 1/2 times x, which is 2, and then plus b. And now we can find the y-intercept. That's going to be what? It's going to be a 1. Subtract 1. B is 5. Now, don't circle any of those. Those aren't your answers. The question says, write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. All right, so what do we write? Y equals the slope. We just found it. 1/2 x, and then we found the y-intercept, plus 5, and that is the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. Okay? All right, so let's do this. Let's talk about 2 lines. Okay, if you have 2 lines, I copied and pasted this, so tell me, what do you think might be true about these 2 lines? They're parallel to each other, and if they are parallel to each other, Angela said it, they have the same slope. So let's call this line 1. Okay, so we'll call that the slope of line 1. We'll call this the slope of line 2. So if these lines are parallel to each other, they have the same slope. So, and you learned this last year by me, didn't you? And you probably learned it before me. You probably learned this in Algebra 1 is my guess. You didn't? Nah, you probably learned it. You probably learned it in Algebra 1. All right. So what I'm going to do, I just did this vertically and horizontally just to let's do this. All right. Oops. Control G. Is that right? There we go. That's what I wanted. All right. What about these 2 lines right here? They are not parallel to each other. They are what? Perpendicular to each other. So if they are perpendicular, there is a relationship between the slopes again. That's correct. That's the phrase that I use. They are negative reciprocals of each other. If you want to write that down, feel free. Okay, I'm going to write it like this. Watch. The slope of 1 is equal to the negative reciprocal of the slope of 2. Everybody see that? So for instance, if these 2 lines are parallel, if the slope of this was, I don't know, 3 over 2, what's the slope of this line right here? Yeah, that's easy. No big deal. Okay, what if this slope was 3 over 2? What's this slope? It's negative 2 over 3. It's really not that much more difficult, okay? As long as you know that the slope of a perpendicular line is the negative reciprocal, which means you change the sign, right? You flip the fraction. Hunter, I think you might pay attention better if you were actually taking notes and doing something instead of with your feet up and just talking to everybody around you. You were. All right, example 4. This one says, write the standard form. I didn't say you weren't paying attention, but you're causing a lot of problems because you're... let's see. Yeah, it's all on video. Hunter McKenzie's causing me all kinds of trouble. All right, here it goes. So it passes through. We want to write the standard form of an equation of a line. All right, let me teach. Come on, I gave you all that time where I was just telling stories. All right, now settle down and let me teach. It says write the standard form equation of the equation of a line that passes through. I'm just going to kind of sketchily write these things. It passes through a point, negative 2, 3, and is parallel, and I'm going to do the symbol for parallel. Do you remember that? Yeah. To this line right here, x plus 2y equals 8. All right, what we just talked about with slopes is going to come into play here because you got a parallel line. So what's going to happen? They give you this line right here. This is a line, all right? You don't have to graph it. You could if you wanted to, but you don't have to. What they want you to do is find the equation of a line that passes through this point, negative 2, 3, and is parallel to this line. All right, they're not going to be the same exact line, but they are going to be parallel to each other. And the line that we want to try to find actually goes through this point. This line right here doesn't go through this point. Okay, the line that we want to figure out is going to go through this point and is parallel to this. So the fact that they're parallel to each other, what does that tell you right off the bat? That they have the same slope. So what are we going to find on this line? Find the slope of this line, then that's going to be the slope of our line, the other line, okay, or our line. All right, so how do we find the slope of this? Well, put it in slope-intercept form, okay? So that's probably the easiest way. You could do set the x equal to 0 and all that kind of stuff, right, to find the y-intercept. You could do it that way, but let's do it this way. So 2y equals what? Negative x plus 8, divide by 2. Really, all we care about, I don't even care about the y-intercept, do I? I just care about the slope. So what is the slope? Negative what? 1/2, right? So that's the equation of the line that they give us, all right? And we are only concerned about the slope. So the slope of our line is going to be the slope of the line that they give us because they're parallel to each other, okay? Now, do I know a point that it goes through? Yeah, they give it to us. Now what I can do, I could just put this, I could do this, x and y, and I could put it in the slope-intercept form if I wanted to, and then change it to the standard form. I could do that. That's perfectly fine. It's probably not much more difficult. But we do have something that has a point and a slope. Do you remember that? The point-slope formula, or form. So this might be a little bit easier. So let's do this one. All right. So I'm just going to go y minus y1. My y1 is 3 equals m, which is negative 1/2, times x minus what? Negative 2. Right. And now what I want to do is I want to put it in the standard form. We haven't even talked about that. I heard somebody say it earlier. I'll just put it down here. ax plus by. In this book, they say equals c. It seems like I've always heard it plus c equals 0, but that's okay. We'll just write it like this. Which means you just want the x and the y on the left-hand side. You want your constant, right, just the regular number. You want that on the right-hand side. What must be true about the a, though? It's got to be a positive what? Integer. It's got to be a positive integer. And these have to be just integers. Okay, they don't have to be positive, but they have to be integers. Which means they're not what? Fractions. Good. Okay, enough of that. Let's do this. Y minus 3 equals negative 1/2 x. What's that going to be? That's going to be plus right there. But it's negative 1/2. Can we do that in our head? Negative 1/2 times positive 2, which is what? Negative 1 minus 1. Okay? Now, I don't want fractions, but this has got a fraction. So what do I do with that? multiply everything by 2. If you wanted, you could multiply by negative 2. Let's just multiply by 2. Right? And then multiply, I don't know where you want to put that, right there. Multiply that by 2. Multiply that by 2. Right? That way, this 2 will cancel out that 2. I don't have any fractions. All right? So what do we got? 2y minus 6 equals, what's this going to be? Negative x. What's that going to be? Minus 2. Checking my math, making sure I'm doing it right. I think that's right. All right, let's do this. I want the x on the left-hand side. It's negative anyway, right? If it was positive, I'd keep it there, just move everything else over, but it's negative, so I'm going to move it over here. Let's do that. Add an x, I get x what? Plus 2y. Let's take the 6 over here. How do I do that? Add a 6 equals what? 4. And look, I'm done. Is it in the form that I want? Absolutely. All right. It's 1x plus 2y equals 4. This is positive, right? It's a positive integer. These are integers. They don't have to be positive, but they are in this situation, and that's it. Yeah. Put it in the standard form, like the first. Well, yeah. Okay. So let's just take this and put it in standard form, because this is the equation of the first line they give you, right? What if you want that in standard form? So I'm just going to rewrite it, and you would just get the x's and y's on the left-hand side. So kind of do what we did right here. Okay. Yeah. So you multiply that by 2, that by 2, that by 2, right? And then what do we get? 2y equals negative x plus what? 8, because we multiplied it by 2, right? Move this over, so it's x plus 2y equals 8, right? Why is it not the same as this? Because they're two different lines, right? This has a they're two different lines. I can't say that's the y-intercept because you got to put it in slope-intercept form to even see it, but yeah, that's how you would do it. Okay? All right. Let's see what else I got. One more thing. One more example. This time they actually give you a graph. And I'll tell you what, let's scooch this up, get my graph right here. All right, scooch it back down. Oops. There we go. All right, so I'm going to try to make the graph look like the graph that they give us. I'll put it in another color, make it stand out a little bit. All right, so if you look at the graph, now I just graphed it on my paper, so if you look to see where it crosses these grid marks, that's what you want to do. You want to see where it crosses exactly one of these grid marks. So it looks like it crosses at 2, 1. Do you have the book open? Do you see the graph? Does it look like it hits 2, 1? Yeah. And do they also give you the y-intercept? 1, 2, 3, 4. It also looks like it hits at 0, negative 5, doesn't it? Yes? I think it does. At least that's how I drew it. Yeah, I put another point on here. 1, negative 2. 1, negative 2. Does it look like it hits 1, negative 2 on the graph in the book? Yeah. So it looks like it hits right there. Okay. So those are important. It's important to know the points that are on the graph. All right. I would not pick a point like, I would not pick that point right there. Do you see that? All right, because it's like in between, and I don't know how far it is. I'm not going to guess. I want to find the points that lie right on the intersection of those graph lines. Okay, and those are the ones that I saw on there. Make sense? Okay. So what are those points? This is 2, 1. And you say you can't see that one very well because the arrow doesn't go right through it. Okay, and so what is this point right here then? This is 1, 2, oops. Oh, where's the one that... Oh, it's this one. Yeah, 2, 1, and 1, -2. Right, there we go. Because that was the other one. And there might be a couple other places too. But they're the ones that I picked. All right? So, what I'm going to do... Yeah. What I'm going to do is just put any 2 points that lie on that line, and I'm going to put it up here, and it'll work. Doesn't have to be these exact 2 points, okay? Any point that actually lies on that line will be points that you can use. So the question says, write the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, of this equation of a line. Oh, they add a little bit more, though. They say, find the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line that passes through 3, 1 and is perpendicular to this red line right there. All right? So it passes through 3, 1 and is what? Perpendicular to this line that they give us. Okay? I'll just put to the red line. It's not what they put in the book, obviously, but for us, that's what it is. Okay? Well, I know an x and a y, don't I? So what do I need to find of this red line in order to find something on the perpendicular line to that? Perpendicular, we just talked about it. What are we looking for? Finding the what? The slope, okay? So let's find the slope of the red line. If we can find the slope of that line, then the line that we're trying to figure out, I should be able to do the negative reciprocal of it, and that's going to be the slope of our perpendicular line. Does it make sense? All right. So how do I find the slope? Well, just take, you could just count, couldn't you? 1, 2, 3 down, 1 to the left. So what is it? 3, -3 over -1, which is 3. Okay? You could do that, or let's do it this way. You could do it mathematically as well, couldn't you? Let's do it that way, just to remind us how to find the slope. What is it? -2 minus 1 and 1 minus 2. That's -3 over -1, which is 3. Yeah, it works out, doesn't it? So you could just count on the graph if you wanted to, okay, or you could just pick 2 points, find the slope, there you go. But that's not the slope of the perpendicular line, is it? Here's how I write it. Slope, and then I put a little perpendicular symbol there. You won't see that in the book, but I like that. The slope of the perpendicular line is going to be what? -1/3, that's right. So, this is not my answer. It's not why I'm putting it in a box, but that's important. And then what else is important? Find a point on the perpendicular line. What is the point? What is a point on the perpendicular line? There's a lot of points floating around. Which one is it? 3, 1. That's right, because it passes through 3, 1. Everybody see that? Now I can put it into this form and we're good to go. We've already done this a couple times today, so let's do it kind of quick. So y equals 1 equals m. What's my m? -1/3 times x. What's my x? See how they rig these things so it comes out nice and easy for you. It's not always going to do that, but it does here. And then plus what? Plus b. If you wanted to, you could put it in the point slope form, couldn't you? All right, you could have done that. Do it both ways and see which one you like better. All right, I just decided to do it this way. So what's this going to be? -1 plus b, add a 1, b is 2. All right. Now, but look, b isn't 2 on this one, but that's not what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find the perpendicular line to this, correct? All right, so what is the slope-intercept form of my perpendicular line? It's y equals what? -1/3 x plus 2. So that is my answer. Let's just see if it looks right, okay? You don't have to do this. I'm just doing this for fun, just to see if everything worked out the way it's supposed to. What's my line? Y-intercept is 2. Right there, and the slope is -1/3. -1, 1, 2, 3. Look at that. That goes through 3, 1, doesn't it? All right, so it worked out perfect, didn't it? So right there, and right there. Does the yellow one and the red one look perpendicular? Yeah. Absolutely, because one has a slope of 3, the other one has a slope of -1/3. It's absolutely perpendicular, and that's what it does. It goes through 3, 1, and it's perpendicular to the red line. Does it make sense? you remember doing this stuff last year? Please say yes. All right, because we did it a lot. In fact, I know I've told you this before, but we're doing it right now in my honors geometry class. We just finished doing a problem just like this. Well, nah, it's the next lesson. I think it's the next lesson, but we're really close to doing this right here. So we definitely did it in geometry last year. All right. Any other questions? Does that help a little bit? All righty. So now you should be able to finish it up. Yesterday I said you could start on 1 to 33 odds. I don't know if you did or not. If you did, then you don't have them all to do tonight. All right? But if you didn't, then you can do them all tonight. So I'll write it down. It's section 2-3, pages 72, 73, 1 to 33, but we're only doing the what? The odds. Okay? There it is. All right. Have it ready for tomorrow. We'll go over it tomorrow.